Hey, what's up guys? I'm back out on the Sound today fishing for flounder. So salmon are largely gone. I definitely caught plenty of salmon this year. But one of the other great fishing opportunities that we have here is actually the flounder opportunity. Now to target flounder, I basically use something like this. So this is a kind of an over-under rig. I have a 2-ounce weight, right? Maybe 18 inches, 2 feet, something like that up. I have a swivel, and then tied to that is actually a darter jig head with a 4-inch minnow on it. It might seem kind of strange that I'm using lead twice, right? So like I have this weight, and then I have another weight here. The main reason that I use a jig head is to actually keep the minnow kind of like right side up. So you see how it kind of sits like this. It's got the belly facing the ground, and then the back up. So that's actually a helpful feature of it. The other reason that I like to use jig heads as opposed to just like bare hooks is when a fish takes it, it has a tendency to take it like this, right? And if it encounters the line, it basically stops. So if you're using a J hook, they have the opportunity to totally swallow it. But with basically jig heads, you know, the opportunity to swallow it's much less. The other thing that I like about darted jig heads in particular is if a fish does happen to take it sort of deeply, you have a really good grip like this, right? So you can pry it out of their mouth pretty easily by basically gripping the darted jig head. Darted jig heads are designed basically for salmon, so that as you you know, jig the lure, it darts around erratically. I'm actually just using it to basically prevent the fish from swallowing it, and when they do take it deeply, I can basically pry it out with the pliers. So let me get in position, kind of drop down. It should be a pretty productive day. As you can see, about as beautiful and calm as you can hope for. I've already seen some herons and sea lions, so I can't complain about the view. And of course, as always, we get this beautiful you know, view of the Olympic Mountains just to my right here. Yeah, let me get in position and drop down. All right, first drop down. So the current is coming this way. Because the current's coming this way, I'm going to aim that way. That way I can sort of fight the current as I go. Because drifting with the current is a little bit too fast, but you also don't want to be fighting it too much. There we go. Oh. There we go, fish on. Yeah, so I have a stretch goal of catching 15 fish in 15 minutes, but we'll see if that happens. So this is a pretty typical size. It's sort of worth seeing this red dot right here. So like this red mark. It's actually a worm. So these fish have worms under their skin. I was a little bit surprised the first time I filleted one. There was actually some worms on the cutting board, and that was kind of gross. They're not parasites that'll transmit to humans, so it's not that big of a concern. Like if you actually are going to eat them and you find a worm in your fish, I tend to throw them back if they do have worms, just because it's really icky. But yeah, that's what you'd look out for, just like a little maroon bump. Yeah, no, ooh, almost. Now I use these relatively large, there we go, relatively large baits and relatively large hooks to kind of prevent catching the smaller fish. So you'll see a lot of takes, like a lot of shaking with the tip of the rod and not much catching. And the reason for that is I'm kind of intentionally avoiding the smaller fish. And this here is why I use the darter jig heads. So if this was a J hook, it might actually be gone right now. Like I might not be able to dig that out. But because it's a darter jig head, I can basically grab the hook with my pliers. Grab the lead part with my pliers, twist and send him on his way. So that's actually the point of the darter jig heads. The darting is maybe adds a little action to it, but it's not like it's not a feature that I'm really looking for. It's really has to do with the pliers grip. You could just as easily be doing this at Meadow Point or Alki Point or any of the other kind of points that are really easily accessible via kayak. I mostly just wanted to work out this morning. I wouldn't even say that the fishing's necessarily better here than Meadow Point. It's just kind of a nice area to be. I also feel like with points like this, you're a little bit more likely to see something like a whale. Fish on. I have seen orcas and minkies here. obviously sea lions. There we go. And I probably will retain a couple today. That happens. But so far I'm letting them go. I'm actually really kind of looking for a bigger one. Oh wow, that's a bigger one. Yep. And that was just a subtle take. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's a bigger one. Very subtle take. So it was just kind of. Oh no. That happens. I'm about to start keeping them. I was going to release that one anyway, so not a big deal. So what flounder basically do is sit with their belly on the bottom, and then they'll poke their kind of side fins into the sand itself, and basically let the current pass over them. And the current passing over them is actually what pushes them into the sand. And they essentially just look like a little rock or something. And that's why they're so stealthy and effective predators. They blend in super well. So yeah, they just use these kind of like little feet, just sort of poke them into the sand, and that's how they stay anchored. But yeah, so the likely scene under me right now is 2 or 3 fish with those side fins kind of planted in the sand, with the current going over their backs. My goal is just to kind of bring the presentation in front of their nose. Oh, there's one. Very subtle, very subtle. And this slack stuff is working pretty well. This slack current makes sense. I mean, most predators want to conserve their energy. I suppose most animals want to conserve their energy, not just predators. Look at this little guy. Oh, there are fish jumping over there. There's basically a herring ball over there. Oh, I'm going after this. Immediately a fish on it. Look at that. Fish, ow! Man, they are all over today. I've caught them in 20 feet, I've caught them in, this is about 100 feet. But they definitely seem to be in this slack water. So basically I'm just north of point, and the current's going north. So that usually creates a pocket of slack water just past the point. So essentially we just have this buffet for the fish. All the krill, all the little fish, all that stuff from further south are being pushed this way. Oh, this is a sand dab. That's pretty cool. Sand dab are kind of interesting in the sense that they're actually translucent. So I don't know if you can see that, but we can actually see through the fish. Very, very cool. Oh wow, it's got a big chunk out of its belly. Oh, poor thing. Yeah, it looks like it was bitten by a seal or something. Hopefully he's all right. Now, flounder are a pretty scent-based predator. They tend to smell their prey and seek it out that way. So it might seem a little bit odd that I'm actually using artificial lures as opposed to natural bait. And the main reason I do that is that they just tend to strip bait super easily. They can just kind of come in, shake their head a couple times, and yank a piece of shrimp off your hook before you even know what happened, basically. So because of that, I kind of prefer these gold minnows. Gold minnows are a little bit harder to swallow also, and they'll last for basically a day. And that's a fishing rod. Oh no. Take two. Fish on. That's more like it. Ooh, it's a big one. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what all this is. See, it's kind of freckled. I've been told that this isn't good to eat. I actually don't know why. I don't know if it's like a parasite or something like that, but that's from what I'm told, that's worth avoiding. But yeah, this is getting to be a little bit more the size that I was hoping to catch. Yeah, and you can tell that that's a sole because of the curvy lateral line. I'm also gonna let this one go. Like I said, I don't want to eat whatever that is, but getting to be the right size, that's cool. That's a better one. Man, it's almost like, it is a little like salmon where you can start out in a spot and not really be catching anything, and then just the bite turns on. And today I'm staying on the current side of the point, and that seems to be really working so far. So the current's going this way, the point's right here. I'm kind of on this side of the point. Readjust a fair amount, but that's all right. A little tangled up. What happened to you, sir? Little on the small side. But yeah, we're kind of back to the phase where as soon as it touches the bottom, something's biting it. Which happens in flounder fishing. Yep, fish on. Jeez. Wow, the head shakes. I wonder if this is something else, actually. This could be a green one. Usually flounder just kind of make themselves really heavy and kind of use their flat body to fight against you. Oh. Just a flounder with a really shaky head. And this poor guy has a serious injury. What happened to you, man? Gonna be a little extra gentle with it. Wow, that is a gouge. Actually, it's a female, very egg-laden belly here. Oh, I hope you're okay. Look at you. Still kind of waiting for that keeper. There's no size limit. I just prefer to keep ones that are, you know, kind of like fair to middling sized. Actually, I'm a little bit superstitious. I don't keep the largest fish of the species. So as painful as it may be, if I catch like a 25, 30 pound Chinook, I'm going to release it. I mainly do that because the bigger fish are typically the ones that lay the most eggs and have the most milts, and you know, you do want the big genetics out there. You don't want them on your table early. A halfway decent one. I'm still looking for the bruisers. There are some. Yeah, side hook. Sorry, buddy. Especially this time of year, I have pretty good success catching pretty big ones. Although not today. Yet. Now, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, like where do you fish? Like where are you fishing? You know, in this video or whatever. Like how do I target whatever fish you're out there? Really, for flounder, it doesn't matter a ton. The main thing that I would recommend is hitting a point. So points are probably the best. So if you look at a map, like here's a map of the Sound. Pretty much any of these points would be fine. So like Alki Point, Meadow Point. Obviously I'm at West Point. I'm doing pretty well today. So that'll work. But then kind of the bays between points should not be discounted either. So all this is actually available. Oh wow. Just for fun, I moved into some shallow water, like on top of the point. And this actually feels like probably the biggest fish of the day so far. Oh, that's a decent one. Yeah. Maybe not the biggest of the day, but it's a good one. Okay, all right. Should start netting them. There it is. I don't think it's a monster, but it's a fish. Decent one, actually. Sand dab. I'll take it. Parasite scan, no, looking good. All right. So I am at the point where I'm just going to keep a couple. I like to keep my retention down to about 3. So this is going to be a good one. This feels like a decent fish. I feel like I'm saving the best for last today. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that'll do. This'll end it for today. Wow. That is quite a flatfish. I don't want to lose it. I'm holding on to it a little bit. This is a flatfish. Boy, this might be pushing like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. This is a fairly decent one. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun. Pretty much any excuse that I can get to go out here is always worth it. Just the scenery of West Point is beautiful, and there are always some kind of fish around. So whether it's salmon or flounder or whatever you're looking for, you know, this is just a really nice place to fish. Today what worked was basically drifting that 2 jigs set up down the sandy and gravel bottoms around here. Valleys were pretty productive. The top of the point was pretty productive. I ended up catching, I can't even count how many fish, probably 20-25 fish today. I got 3 decent ones, including this big one here. So, you know, bordering on baby halibut size. But yeah, it should be a pretty good dinner. Fun fishing adventure. So thanks for watching.